Jake Paul vs Nate Diaz is confirmed. Pro Boxing, August 5th on DAZN pay-per-view. After coming off a loss against Tommy Fury, Jake Paul fighting Nate Diaz seems like an appropriate step down. People might criticize Jake for picking another retired MMA fighter, but I personally like this fight. Again, he lost his last fight, so he needs to rebuild. He came up short against a pro boxer, so let Jake fight another MMA guy, and then maybe work up to the Tommy Fury rematch, or maybe fight another pro boxer of that similar caliber. Nate Diaz has this freakish cult following, and I think the trash talk and the build-up will just be great. I mean, Jake Paul knows how to sell a fight, and Nate Diaz, I mean, come on, he's Nate Diaz. So I think this will sell pretty well. I think it might sell maybe 400,000 pay-per-view buys. Now, the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight, that got 800,000 pay-per-view buys. That was a much bigger fight. Because of the 2-year build-up, because Jake was finally taking on a pro boxer, because of the names surrounding the fight. I mean, you had Tyson Fury promote the fight, you had all different kinds of boxers talking about this fight, so there were a lot of eyeballs on the event. As for Jake Paul vs Nate Diaz, I think it'll get around 400,000 pay-per-view buys, similar to Jake Paul vs Anderson Silva. However, with Jake Paul losing, people might not care about tuning into his fights because he's just fighting another MMA guy. He's not challenging himself again by fighting Tommy Fury or another pro boxer, so sales could diminish, who knows. Who do I think will win the fight? I think Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul will get a decision win against Nate Diaz. Hopefully we see some improvements to Jake Paul's actual boxing, because his boxing skills in the Tommy Fury fights were not up to snuff. Jake Paul was just relying on his power alone, and he wasn't setting up shots properly. He was just swinging overhands, which is exactly what people criticized KSI for doing. Jake Paul did it in the Tommy Fury fight. I mean, that's just without a doubt what happened. I think this fight is for Jake Paul to develop his boxing skill on not a super tough test like a Nate Diaz. I know it's a bit disappointing that he's fighting an MMA fighter, but hey, Anthony Joshua just fought a top 30 guy and he's a top 10 boxer. So let Jake Paul on this level fight another MMA fighter who was retired. I mean, come on. What do you think about the Jake Paul-Nate Diaz fight? I personally like it. I'm going to tune in, obviously. Again, it's not the most exciting fight in the world, but I think it is better than a Tommy Fury rematch. I hate those rematch clauses in boxing, so I'm glad that Jake Paul is fighting a brand new opponent as opposed to just Tommy Fury again, because I think Tommy Fury would win again as well. So, yeah. Hopefully we get the KSI fight in December and not the Tommy Fury rematch. But that's just me. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz confirmed. August 5th. What do you think? Let me know. See you guys next time. Bye.